have to say, they messed this home up. They
What did they
messed this home up.
put the
Come
pool?
on.
They did on the other two as well. I was kind of shocked myself.
All right. Welcome back to more FLA Homes. If you're new to the channel, my name's Christian Clay. Alongside me is the Wesley Chapel King himself. Corey, how are you, brother?
Let's go. I'm doing great, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good. You sound a little stuffy. Talk to the people, man. Let them know how you grind.
It's everyone's got that little tickle in the throat going around this time of year. So, but for us, man, we keep it going. We keep it going.
Hey, listen, some people say that so they can like get off of work and not work, but I can hear it. I can hear it. Like I know you're not making this up, but either way, we're giving the people something that's really good. I love when we can do community breakdowns. A lot of times we're teaching people on how to buy new construction, what to look out for, how we help people. But community breakdowns to me, like, I just absolutely love it. So take them home. Where are we at today?
So we are at probably one of the most desirable upcoming neighborhoods, Two Rivers. We've had a lot of calls for this area, so I'm glad we can bring it back to the channel. And we're going to show you a floor plan today from one of the builders it is incredible. I call it the compound. So you're going to want to stick around to see the compound in this one. But we're going to be showing a builder that we do work with a lot. And honestly, how many calls do we get from people that are like, hey, we want to work with Pulte because you said Pulte is a quality builder. They do a good job. They have good representatives, good processes in place. So we're showing them again because they do a great job with our clients. And I think we've come to love the product that they have. This community is going to have 20 different floor plans. So there's a floor plan for everyone. And in this Two Rivers community, we have different sections. We're going to be in the west section called The Landing. I know you like that new amenity center that's going to be coming to The Landing. But this section is going to have that $3,000 a year club fee. A lot of people want this. They're going to want to be a part of this landing with. They're going to have restaurants, amphitheaters, multiple pools, gyms, anything you can think of inside your own private kind of luxury amenity center. So high demand for this west section of Two Rivers. And I think one of the best parts of the community is the lots. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about lots today and planning homes on these lots, but the community has been developed very thoughtfully to preserve the farmland views, wetlands, conservation, a bunch of different ponds and lakes. So aesthetically, this is going to be one of the premier communities of all of Tampa.
You know what jumps off right now, just looking at this shot right here? Wide sidewalks. You know what that means, right, Corey?
We're zipping through on our golf cart. That's it, man.
We have some golf carts on the way. Let me show everybody where we're at right here. So Two Rivers, I would say definitely a suburb of Tampa, kind of a suburb of Wesley Chapel. I'm actually going to show you how that's possible here in a few tabs. About 40 minutes to get to the airport, downtown International Airport. What's really cool is you got about 16 minutes to 35, depending on time of day, to the Tampa Premium Outlet. So all of the shopping that you want at your fingertips. But here's what's really neat to me, right? Check this out. 8 minutes away from Avalon Park in Wesley Chapel. You know why that is cool? And you and me were talking on a video the other day. We're like, man, Wesley Chapel is like not a suburb. It's its own place. It's its own place. Check this out. What does that say right there? Downtown Wesley Chapel. So you could potentially be 8 minutes away from downtown Wesley Chapel. The developers of Avalon Park are amazing. They do a good job. They have one that's already finished and complete inside of Orlando. And if it's going to be anything like that in Wesley Chapel, it's going to be awesome. So to be 8 minutes away from that, I think that's pretty neat.
I'm really glad you mentioned that. They just opened the first few stores and shops. There's a barber shop, a pet store, and they have a couple of nice restaurants that went in there. And we checked out the new one called Talo, and it's a Caribbean American cuisine restaurant. Christian, it reminds me of Hyde Park. It is like the first Hyde Park restaurant in Wesley Chapel. My mind was blown, and Wesley Chapel needs a lot more of that. If they can continue to push on those nice, those fancy kind of aesthetic restaurants,
Sure.
we're going to be doing good up here. So you're right there, downtown Avalon Park right there, hospitals, schools, all in the area too.
Why do you say that it gives you the Hyde Park feel? Was it the aesthetic of the outside? Was it the section that had the restaurant, or was it the restaurant in itself, like the food they were serving and the vibe it had?
So the buildings are like massive buildings that have different shops in them. But even from the entrance, where it's kind of like the little corners markets that you see in Hyde Park, and when you walk in, you have nice chandeliers and lights, bamboo chairs. Like, it is a really cool looking place, and the food was awesome. But to be able to have a bunch of those different restaurants in one section in that downtown area is going
Yeah.
to be pretty.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's hop into the community. Before we talk about the fees and the amenities, which you might have touched on already, Pulte has a level of product that they put out, right? Like I had another one of our agents in the Orlando area, and we were kind of going back and forth talking and discussing. And we are like, yeah, Pulte has probably been one of our safest buys that we've had recently,
Yes.
right? Because they're a big national builder. It's hard to be big, number 3 amount of homes that you put out and still put out quality homes. But there's a tier that they sell that it's just like, it's gorgeous. I think this is that tier. This is that level of home that they build that I'm like, I would get one of these today if I, could get this home here. But talk to us about the fees and the amenities in this community, and we'll hop into a home tour.
No, you're absolutely right. So they do have those different tiers. We're going to be looking at like the Legacy and the Elite series. These are more of their products that are going to be built homes. They don't do a lot of inventory or spec on these. They kind of leave that to the first 2 tiers where they can mass produce those. This is more of a home you're going to want to design. Now, with that being said, we still can find a few of these Scarlet floor plans that are in the Elite series that they're building spec and they have available for you. But more than often at this price point, you're going to want to design this home anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're working with a few clients in this community with this builder on designing the home, but really it's coming down to figuring out which lot is going to be the best for them to enjoy themselves and for like the resale in the future. Walking the lots is like important, man.
Go for it. Go ahead. No, talk to them. Take them through the lot process because we are so big on the lot, right? We can't control the floor plan. You said maybe 15, 20 different floor plans out here. We can't control that. Like it's one of those that are going to work for you, but what we can control is helping you find the right lot.
And yeah, it's a lot of it is a personal preference. What do you like? Do you want to see water in the backyard? Some people don't want to be on water. Some people want a corner lot. Some people want to have trees in the back. So there's a bunch of different options. One thing that we can always recommend is that looking at just the site map online does not do it justice. You will put boots on the ground and come to see that maybe there was a lift station next to your house that wasn't as appealing as you didn't see online. Or on the other side, you might be like, okay, there's no neighbors behind me, but it's another community. The neighbors are even more on top of you than if you were just into river sections. So we hit the ground with our clients, we walk the lots, and then we have conversations about how this is going to affect them now and in the future, what to expect from different home sites that are around them, different elevations of the water that they're sitting on to let them know, is this going to be a safe place with heavy rains or in storm season, checking out the drainage on the lots. And a lot of times we break out the plot plan too, which is the survey from the county showing the measurements of the home. We have a lot of clients like, I want to build a pool. Sometimes these single story homes build out a little bit further on the lot. So you won't have as much space in the backyard as maybe you thought just from looking at a site map. So getting the dimensions of where the home's going to sit on the property, proper length in the back to get the pool. We've even looked at a few lots where it was like, it's a massive, massive lot. And they think they're going to have a huge backyard, but the home sat back so far on the lot, they had a huge front yard and a long drive.
That's not funny. So whoever that happened to, we feel, you still have a big yard, right? But yeah.
You do, right? But it's like, yeah, now they got a longer driveway than a bigger backyard. Which one do they need more? Which one are they going to utilize more?
Sure.
So it's definitely important to figure out on a survey where this home is going to sit and then how much these lots cost. And that's one thing that we are able to do when we go into these builders is help you negotiate with the builder to get an affordable lot or maybe bring that premium down to help you get into the home. We always say you get quick move-in deals. That's where the best are going to be from the builder. But when you build a home, we can still navigate a way to help build some incentives into there with design studio, with the lot, maybe with the closing date. So it's really important to seek advice and have a real estate advisor when you're going to these communities, even when you're building it yourself from scratch.
Do you remember the name of the aunt that I said that they are allowed to use as their representative?
No.
It's their Aunt Susan. It's their Aunt Susan, right?
Susan.
Would love for it to be us. We would love to represent you. It could be your Aunt Susan. We don't care. But yes, seek advice. Have somebody help you out through the process. Now, you were talking about the lots and having boots on the ground. My favorite thing from looking at a plot map that a builder can do is say, hey, this lot sits on a beautiful pond over here. And then you get over there and it's nothing but just a ditch with nothing in it, right? Dry. And on the map, they're allowed to put blue in it. It says a pond, but there's nothing there. So boots on the ground, extremely important, extremely important.
Of course. And we kind of touched this briefly just a few minutes ago, where the community is developed in a way that is preserving these views. This community, I think, started out with over 10,000 homes and they reduced it to 6,000 to be able to preserve some of that land. Now you got to consider this was all farmland before. So when it rained, they was able to absorb, excuse me, into this ground over here, right? So they have to thoughtfully place the infrastructure, the roads, new drainage. They build a lot of these ponds. They dig them out themselves and they
Yeah.
use them as dry retention ponds. So when it does rain on the concrete, where's all that water going to be drained to? They dig a hole, they create a new pond. Now, with that being said, when it's not raining, that pond is dry. You got a big brown hole in your backyard. So that's where we're like, hey, is this a pond? Is it a retention pond? How is it drainage? Is it going to remain in with water or will it dry up during the non rainy season? So, like you said, it's important to get a very thorough understanding of the community, the lots available when you're making this decision, because you can get the same floor plan in many different locations, but
Yeah.
that home site, that land you purchase, is going to be the difference between your equity and your resale when you go on the market later.
Bingo. Couldn't have been said any better. Should we just hit the fees and jump into this home tour?
Yeah, let's hit the fees. So for this community, there's 50-foot, 60-foot, and 70-foot lot. So you know that your CDD can kind of vary in between there. Overall, you're going to be looking at just over $500, around $530 a month for the HOA, CDD, and club fee.
Not bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. All right, now you were foaming out the mouth, not from being sick, but from like you were like, this floor plan is the one.
Oh,
Talk to us.
man.
What are we looking at today?
So this is a floor plan that they just introduced in this community. It was the first time I've ever seen it. We're talking over almost 4,400 square feet, all the way up to 6 bedrooms, almost 6 bathrooms. You got a 3-car garage. I love the setup of the garage too, because you do have a single car on one side and a 2-car on the other, but they both have their own entryways into the home.
Hmm.
This home is kind of designed to be like a generational home. So when you get this much square footage, oftentimes you do have family living with you, older kids, but the way they've laid out the floor plan is quite incredible. Downstairs, I call it the east wing. Over here on the right, you're going to have a bedroom and ensuite. This is going to be the word of the day, Christian.
Gotcha.
Ensuites.
Okay. Okay.
Because
I
this
love it. Hey, I love en suites. Anytime you could do that, I'm just like, let's go. I don't have to share a bathroom with anybody.
Right. So Pulte, we were working with the client recently, and they said this home has 5 toilets. It had 4.5 bathrooms, 5 toilets. That was super for them. Like, that's what we need with all the young kids that they have coming to the house, friends and stuff. But this home has a half bathroom tucked away from the living room. You notice it's right off the front door. So once again, you're not walking out of the half bathroom right into the kitchen.
This is
Here's
the
the
single.
entryway. This is the single, but look how bright it is
That's
in
a
here. You can
that's a
use this
big
as
single car garage. That's actually pretty big, people.
absolutely. The windows makes it nice and bright. So like I said, you could use that as a gym or something else if you don't have that third car in there. But having an entryway from that garage is really functional for an ensuite to come
Into
right
the
down
east wing. So this is for everybody who lives in the east wing.
This is the east wing.
Gotcha.
Oh, in the east wing, you do have a bonus room as well. No closet in this room. They have it set up as a game room, could be an office, a little living room, a flex to go with the ensuite that's going to be right next to us as well. So this home is very thoughtfully designed for 2025. People want to have their own bathrooms. Guests want to have their own bathroom when they come over. It's just a
Yeah.
lot comfortable, enjoyable feeling, when you have your own little getaway for the week there when you're staying out. But this home, I'm telling you, wait till we get into the living room. That's where the real wow factor kind of hits you.
I'm interested in knowing if they built this floor plan just for this community or if they had it in other communities already and they just decided to, roll it out
Right.
in our region finally.
So my understanding, it is not in the Tampa area. It already has existed, and they're just finally introducing it to the Tampa market, where you're not going to find it in any of the Pulte communities. But Pulte does have, you can kind of see that coastal, kind of contemporary feel on the outside. What I love about Two Rivers as a community is that if you do want to build these homes, you have options. You can get that Pulte coastal. You can get a West Bay that has kind of that Tuscan, the Mediterranean. MI Homes has a little bit different design on there too. So a lot of our buyers, like we said, at this price point, we've shown people, we've walked up to DRB and it's a beautiful home, right? Luxury builder. But they don't like the outside of the home. They're like, I'd much rather build a West Bay home. Some people are the opposite. So we kind of guide you through that process too, on what to expect from these builders on the outside and on the interior design too, because this is a home that you are going to completely design. But what's very important about these builders is every one of these builders has a different level of standard options in the home. You know what the standard, well, know what you get That's standard in a West Bay home?
You
Baseboard.
want you want me to guess?
Yeah, I just told you already. It's baseboards.
Oh, gotcha.
That's it.
Baseboards.
That's it. Nothing else. So if you're thinking about designing that home, just know that Pulte might give you a little bit higher end standard finishes, which means they're a $0 upgrade when you go to the design studio. Like I said, if someone like West Bay, everything's going to be an upgrade. Starting from you'll have carpet right when you walk in the front door at a $0 standard option. Pulte might give you at least like an 18 by 18 tile as a standard.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, tell me you opened this corner pocket door here that going outside. Did you open that up for us?
You know I had to.
All right, good. We'll get there when we get there, man. Hey, look, I'm absolutely loving this. But on the topic of the standard features versus, what you should go and spend money in the design studio with, we do a really, really good job of trying to extract as much design studio money for our people, right? As an incentive, right? Whatever they're offering, you're going to tell us what they're offering probably right now or on average. We try to get you guys more. But with that, let's just say somebody has $50, $60, $70,000 to spend on the house in the design studio. That will go faster than they think. You had a good point on one of our videos that we have to get the right things for these upgrades. Sometimes the tray ceiling may pop down and it's just an aesthetic that actually takes up more space than you may think. It might not be worth spending that money on. Like, what are some important things for people to spend money on when it comes to design studio?
Like, it's going to start right here in the kitchen. Usually that gourmet kitchen package comes with a few things. It's going to come with the built-in oven and microwave, a vent hood, the trash pull-out drawer. So you get a few different, kind of things with this option, but it's going to be, depending on the builder, $15,000, $20,000. So you could pick 3 or 4 structural options and that could blow your whole 60 grand design spend right there. But definitely a kitchen would be, you'd get the most return in appraisal value on having in a gourmet kitchen package. Now, like you said, we have to go through the options. A tray ceiling, yes, they are very nice, but sometimes they're built into the ceiling. Sometimes they build them down. So it's like, do we want to pay the money to lower the ceiling height, or can we bypass that one, maybe do it in like a bedroom or something? A sliding glass door like that might cost like $12,000 to $18,000 as well. They have different options of doors. You can get a 16-foot, you can get a 20-foot. We go through the pricing, we see what's the best option for you. One good example is an 18-foot slider versus a 16-foot slider. We are going through it with our client. Which one's going to be the best option? It's a $4,000 difference for the 2 extra feet. The 16-foot slider was 3 doors and it slid into 1. The 18-foot slider was 4 doors and they slid open into 2 on the sides. So the gap was actually smaller for the entryway right here on an 18-foot slider than it was on a 16-foot slider. Man. And we were going to see $4,000. So it's like when we go into the research in the design studio, they're going to try to sell you up on everything. It's kind of their job, but we can kind of taper it back and be like, this is reasonable. This is going to, give you equity in the future. This is just an aesthetic thing. Maybe you can even do it afterwards and do it more affordable. We've helped a lot of clients. They go pretty standard on some of these finishes, designing, get the space they want. And then afterwards they come in and they just blow it up and make it, whatever they want. Currently working with someone that bought a Casa Fresca home, like a level 1, almost level 2 with their Bold series.
Sure.
And he's going to completely redo the kitchen. He's going to rip out the drywall and put in the railing. So that's a video we're going to be putting on the channel when he gets finished to show you what you can do with like a level 1 product. And by just kind of doing it afterwards and getting you with the right vendors that we have, you can have exactly what you want and build a home that looks like a level 3 builder.
Exactly. A million ways to skin it. As you all are going through the primary suite and this big old walk-in closet here, I have to say, they messed this home up.
What's that?
They messed this home up.
Tell me why.
You were teaching them. You were giving them great lessons. But the backyard, bro, like, because somebody's going to buy this model home, right? Like we've helped so many people buy model homes. They didn't put the pool in this model home, man.
They didn't put
Come
the pool
on.
They did on the other 2 as well. I was kind of shocked myself. But I think, it gives you a good idea of what you can do if you don't want a pool. Sure. Because working with a few clients right now, that they don't even have a covered lanai. They got like a 5x5 slab and that's it in the back. But that's kind of like their blank canvas now. Yeah. They can put in the pavers. They can extend the lanai. We have one client that's putting in a pool. One person's just going to do a patio on the back. So you can get a dining space, a couch space, a fire pit, kind of like they have back here. So I think it's good to see the options. But I thought with this home too, there had to be the pool in there with the screen. Oh man, they
I don't
missed
go
an opportunity.
crazy over pools, but if you're gonna do it big, right? Like just top it off, put the cherry on top there. But this is still gorgeous by all means. I'll say this for a lot of our clients that come to Florida and they say, I want to make sure that I can do a pool in the future. You realize that you don't use the pool as many times as you might think, right? So it could become something that's more costly to you than anything. But we'll leave that up to you. Obviously, you want a pool. Our job's to go make sure that we can secure a lot that can get one.
Absolutely. And in this community, Pulte is going to be the closest builder to the landing. So you'll actually be able to just walk a couple hundred yards from the community right over to the amenity center, which I always think is a huge advantage when we're looking at homes and lots. We've seen a few with our clients recently where I'm like, the pool's across the street. Now you're not the home buyer that has to drive across the neighborhood with all your stuff to the pool. You could flap your feet and run across the parking lot, back to your house and grab something if you need to. So having this community right next to that amenity center is going to be awesome. You're going to actually have views of the tennis courts and stuff from some of the home sites here.
Hopefully from this window right here. So is this a media room? What do they call this? The media or like the movie room or something like that?
Media room, another flex space. They have it set up as a media room. You see there is a closet in there, so you can still be another bedroom. That's why this home can go from 4 to 6. You can kind of design it with flex spaces, with bedrooms, ensuite bathrooms, Jack and Jills, a lot of different options in here. But the loft space, like from up here, seeing chandeliers on both sides, the ceiling all the way, it's got to be 25, 30-foot ceilings. And you know that Pulte always does it right with the natural lighting. Tons of windows in this home.
They absolutely they do a really good job, right? And I always bring up like my favorite part of Pulte because I think a lot of builders can build a nice home. It's the safety within the home, right? So like that extra 5-year water intrusion on top of their warranty, like that checks a lot of boxes in my heart and in my home because that shows me like, hey, we trust that our product is great. Where more and more builders nowadays are taking stuff off of their warranty, they have something that a lot of builders just don't have. So I love that. I appreciate it. I always say that every time we show off a Pulte product.
And the last experience we had with them, we worked with one of the best construction managers I've seen in all of our experience. And I told you, we're doing these walks a couple times a week, right? Like they are very thorough with their construction. They were very tentative to our inspection report and getting things fixed. So we were very appreciative to have a good construction manager like that in the community, which, like you said, you don't always get. And I'm glad you mentioned builders kind of trying to move away from the inspections and doing this.
Yeah.
Just last week, we tried to get an inspection on a home. The home's we went under contract and we're supposed to close in 3 weeks. So they said, get your inspector right away. We got to have it by a certain date. They kept pushing back on all inspectors because they increased the auto insurance policy up to like $1 million, something that most inspectors don't need to have.
Of course.
But they kept pushing our inspectors out, and we were kind of running out of time. Luckily, we found one that works with that builder, so we got them in right away. But yes, you'll see more and more builders are starting to do whatever they can to push away stuff on the roof, going in the attic, having the time inspectors come in. And like we said, we've shown you a contract where it says it's all up to the builder's discretion whether they fix it or not. So being able to work with one like Pulte that's like, yes, we're gonna fix it for you.
Yeah, for sure. Never had any pushback on them. Never had any like sliding from their side where it's just like, man, they're giving us too many hoops. Because when builders put these hoops in front of you, you somewhat understand their intent, right? They're just like, we're doing it to protect ourselves, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't want us to see what's going on in the attic and on the roof. I get it, right? Because the last thing you want to do is fix something that you have. You got 20 other homes to build, right? Pulte, I feel like it's just been kind of fair and open with that. Now, with that being said, have we found some things? Have we had to negotiate things? Things are never perfect, of course. But hang your hat where your hat, could be hung at. And I feel like they're just a good quality builder all around when it comes to our area, so.
Yes, and we kind of see it from the side of like being under contract and working with them, not just the appearance.
Exactly.
Working with them, I'm telling you, is a breeze. And I can't say that for all of the builders or every situation we ever had, but I know the reps in this company, the construction managers, all the way up to management, like we've been well taken care of, or our clients have been well taken care of with this builder, and we back it every time.
So talk to us about what they're kind of offering out here, where you think that we can see more improvement for our clients, or where we would help our clients strike when it comes to a good deal.
Yeah, so they still do have, like we said, those quick moving options with the first 2 series they have. So you can get low interest rates. another thing we didn't even mention because we were talking about building a home, but on these quick move-ins, Pulte has some of the lowest rates in the market right now. We've seen them as low as 4.5, 4.25 for a 30-year fixed mortgage.
Yeah,
So
man, jeez.
sometimes people
People
call
are
us,
waiting for that. People are waiting for the market. When the rates
hey,
hit 4, I'm gonna buy. We can help you with that, people. Let's
get
go.
it done right now, right? But once the rates go to 4, there might not be any inventory left because everybody's gonna that's been on the fence. It's gonna jump out and buy, and the prices won't look the same. So
Yeah,
it's a huge advantage to get a home with a good rate and have it at a lower price point right now because that's all going to change, when rates do come down. But on those quick moving homes, like we said, really, really low rates. A lot of people call us. We start talking about first time buyer coming a little out of pocket. What do you want to be around monthly? What's a comfortable mortgage for you? They tell us what they want to be. It's like, all right, now I'm going to take you to the builders with the rates that are going to help you fit that mortgage. Because I could show you this home, but if it's a 7% rate, it's not going to be affordable. You can get a home like this at 4.25 for 30-year fixed. We tell our clients to just wait until rates go below there and you can refinance. Don't know if that will even happen in the life of that loan.
yeah. Well, that'd be. Listen, I tell you what. If the national rate comes down to under 4%, I mean, yeah, I mean that'd be pretty nice. I don't know if we're gonna see that again, but I will say this: I've been in a market where buyers were pushed to the side, right? Like, i.e., right after COVID. It is not a fun freaking market, right? So if you're waiting for the right time to buy, and I'm not persuading you to buy or anybody out there, but like I would say, this is the fun market right here. When we can go into a model home and we can say, I want this, this, and this. Oh, by the way, throw that in there. And they're just like, whatever, what do we need? That's the market I like versus coming in and they're like, hey, we got 20 people looking at this home. Move aside. You're not getting any inspections. Don't talk to me. Like, that is not a fun market, people. That is not a fun market. I'm telling you right now.
That's it, and that's exactly what happened right after COVID. Is that we had multiple buyers looking at one home. A lot of builders were doing offer sheets. You had to fill out your first, second, and third choice of homes and offer, and then hopefully you got one of them. And people were
Oh, I
buying them.
remember. I remember filling out an offer sheet with you. Yeah, Corey was working for one of the builders. I'm like, I got to write on this freaking offer sheet. I don't even know if we got the home or not, but
Yeah, when you
yeah,
get your third choice of home, people were like, okay, I'll take it. Like, that's all you could get then. So it was a tough market. So, like you said, being able to go and having options of lots, having prices reduced, having lower rates thrown at you, getting the fridge, getting the blinds, like these are huge advantages to buying right now. A lot of people do ask us, when should I buy? It's like, if we knew that, I'd have you all calling me October 1st, whenever that date was.
I wouldn't
We
be
start.
here, baby. I would have a penthouse in every major city, just overlooking, just sitting there. I'd have a beard too, somehow, some way.
Right? But we don't know when, is always the best time to buy. But we do know right now we're seeing a lot of our buyers getting hooked up by the builders. They're getting good deals, low rates, and we're able to lean on them, to push and get the most out of it right now. So it's
Yeah.
always a good time to buy if you don't have a ton of competition.
Yeah, exactly. If you got to move, you got to move. You got to buy, right? Don't get greedy. But yeah, see the advantages in the market. There's always advantages there. Now, question to you, Corey. Two Rivers is in Zephyr Hills, technically. Okay,
Yes.
let's just kind of pull them into Wesley Chapel real quick. Where does Two Rivers stack up with the rest of the communities in Wesley Chapel? Because this is a community we get a lot of freaking calls on. We have a lot of contracts in Two Rivers, a lot of people that are buying in there. Where does it stack up with the rest of them?
So I would say right now, it's got to be up in like the top three. I definitely know it's going to be one of the most desirable once all of this growth still comes in. Like they're selling. They've been selling for over a year now over in this community, maybe about 2 years. But we haven't seen the Publix and all the commercial stuff start to come in. Once that starts going in, a 36-acre surf park. Come on now, our
Yeah.
lagoons are 7 acres and 15. You got a 36-acre surf park, the first one in the country. This area is going to be booming here in a few years, and all you're going to see is the growth coming, like you said, right from Wesley Chapel down the road in the Zephyr Hills. It's like the little baby sister of Wesley Chapel at this point. So once everything comes in, the homes, schools, surf parks, I think it's going to be one of the more desirable locations and communities to live in all of Tampa.
What's your estimate on like when you see that happen? Like when do you think people should be able to be like, okay, I see exactly what Corey's saying now. It happened.
I think about 5 years, you would actually see like the growth start coming. You'd see the buildings up and being open. Like you said, in 5 to 10 years, your equity is going to go through the roof if you're buying it at this point because everyone that's moving this way, like you said, the hospitals, surf parks, just bringing a lot of attraction, a lot of tourists into the area. And as we see, we're still one of the most desirable areas to live in all the country. People are relocating like crazy into Tampa. So if you're looking to move here, you can reach out to us. We can help you navigate through this. And even if it's not Two Rivers and it's a Murata, another area that's up and coming, we can kind of navigate you with that too.
The best way to reach us is via email, team@morefla.com. If you really want to, you can send a text message to that number that's floating above. But I tell you what, Corey, you have anything else for him before we hop off?
That's good, my man. This is
All
a
right.
good one.
If you made it this far, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what the heck are you doing? Catch you on the next one.